150 pages. I don't know how many pages it was, but it was big and long. I mean, Dolan's is just about 20 pages or so. So Eberhard sent me his, and I said, well, let's put Richard Hall's outline of history from UFO evidence, and so I just put that. I put those two together, Eberhard and Hall, and then I started putting my own stuff in there, which is, and then you see how things go. Let me give you an example. In 1952, Churchill in England wrote a letter to the Air Ministry. Says, "What do we know about these UFOs? This UFO stuff?" And he got, the regular Air Ministry stuff back. Oh, well, we don't think there's much to it. Blah, blah, blah. Hoaxes, hallucinations, misidentifications of regular objects. One of Churchill's nephews was in the science branch of I think it was intelligence. Anyways, about the same time the Air Ministry is sending this letter to him, this jet pilot in Germany, a British RAF jet pilot, sees a UFO. So they call him to his commander's office, and he tells them about his UFO. And they said, okay, send him to Churchill's nephew. And this guy, like I said, Churchill's nephew is he's not a cabinet minister, but he's way up there. So Churchill's nephew hears about this. And not only that, in the meantime, they say, the RAF says, and by the way, we picked this thing up on radar that this pilot saw. So Churchill's got that in his papers. So he's got the Air Ministry telling him, "Hoof, hoof, there's nothing to it. Hoof, hoof." And here's his nephew. He says, "Hey, I interviewed this guy. There's something to this." But if you didn't have the facts to go in the outline, you wouldn't see that, and you wouldn't see where it fits in. Within about a 2-week period, the Air Ministry tells them there's nothing to it, and then this pilot in Germany has this spectacular sighting, which is confirmed by radar, and one of Churchill's relatives hears about it. Of course, Churchill gets all the papers, and they're in his papers at a college. So I think that those kind of things are important.
Well, can you? We're going to run out of time here, but can you tell us quickly what you know about Eberhard and CUFOS and what it stands for?
He's interested in history all the way back to ancient times.
How do you say his name? Eberhart or something? How do you spell it?
Right. Yeah, Eberhard.
Hart or Hard?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's T.
Was he with
George Eberhard?
George Eberhard.
He's after he and Mark Roddiger were some of the leading lights in CUFOS after Hynek left. Okay.
Well, how many people took over after J. Allen Hynek for CUFOS? And we need a timeline to establish for APRO and CUFOS on this recording prior to you getting involved.
Well, CUFO started after 73. I'm not sure. 74 sometime. I'm not sure when Hynek went to Arizona, so he still kept his hand in it for a while.
Well, Afro was Jim and
Afro was
Carl
1952. Afro was 1952, and then when Coral Lorenzen died, it was no more. I mean, the board still existed, but nobody had been picked to take it over. Several people, they had talked about several people taking it over, but nothing ever happened, and the board was just they didn't ever do anything. So, and then somebody else got the sightings to take care of the files to take care of them, and now these people are treating the files like they're theirs. They belong to them. So that's just a tragedy, an out tragedy. APRO.
So APRO owns CUFO's. Wait, I'm confused.
APRO doesn't own anything. I don't know why you're putting APRO and CUFO in the same sentence.
Historically.
They're two different.
Historically, for people that don't know anything about UFOs, who was keeping any kind of records is why it fits in the timeline. It's like Superman and Batman.
So, APRO started in 1952 and went on until the 1980s till Coral Lorenzen, the director, died. And it supposedly still really exists because it's got a board, but they gave away the files. CUFO started in 74 with Hynek. Hynek went to Arizona and, like I said, he kept his hand in it for a while, but then he died. So now CUFO still exists. It's got a board and everything. It's got officers, and it's got its records, and that's what we were doing out there to keep the records, to make sure that they don't go away anywhere. We're scanning them in so that the records don't what happens to the records of so many other organizations. They disappear after the principals go away, or like Arnold's thousands of letters, they get thrown in the trash.
And the government doesn't care, so we're not putting them out there in Salt Lake, I guess, at the NSA building. Maybe they're listening to us and doing all this. I don't know.
Well, there's government files. There's plenty of government files. Like I was telling you about the 4th Air Force.
Yeah.
We found the 4th Air Force. Well, first the government found part of the 4th Air Force files. But we found the files up to 52. So those things, those are something new. Well, they've been new since the 90s, but nobody, I think I'm the only one that's really worked on them or looked at them. I've got copies of them.
Well, see, I was
4th Air Force
December
files
26th.
are important. 4th Air Force files are important. Then the air defense files, they're important. Some of the air defense files are just now coming out. Not the stuff I want to see, but some of it's coming out. So.
Well, did you say MUFON, Mutual UFON, they reference APRO, but they don't claim that they were started. You know Andrews, right? Walt Andrews.
Yeah, Andrews was an APRO member, and then he kind of broke away.
Okay. So that
he started the Midwest UFO network, and then it became the Mutual UFO Network. And so he broke away. He broke with Coral, and the both of them were fighting each other after that.
Okay. Now I know about that. I was born right before APRO. I was born December 26th. Very important day of ufology, and I guess also for tsunamis. But the Walt Penniston file was on my birthday, December 26th, and so was a tsunami in 2004. But I find it curious that we have two people. There was a controversy, and I helped start it, not intentionally, back in the day when I was doing MUFON and UFO. I was writing for UFO Digest in Canada. That Stanton T. Friedman, I talked to Don Berliner and Stanton T. Friedman and George Filer. And George Filer and Stan were both writing for the MUFON. But for some reason, I don't know how this works. It's pretty deep. It's a real long history. But I know it goes back to Walt Andrews, and I was dealing with NASA because I met at NASA. I met with a lot of grassroots people at NASA in the 60s, 67, 68, 69. So who is the other person, or the grassroots person? It was Walt Andrews for MUFON in the 60s. And who was John Schuessler? Was he in it back then or no? Did you know his name?
He was in it. I think he was in it from the beginning.
Huh. It says that in this history that's written up on Wayback Machine that the MUFON officially began on May 31st, 1969. So that was the Midwest UFO Network. So that must be the one you're familiar with, an outgrow of the Midwestern state boundaries from the UFO organization, Mutual UFO Network. So Walt Andrews replaced Dr. Utke as the MUFON director, a position he held until 2000, and he retired. John Schuessler took over. International director, John retired November 2006. Now, I came in when James Carrion became the international director, and then he resigned at the end of 2009, and then Clifford Cliff, international director, 2012, and David McDonald took over. And I knew David. I talked to him about being an investigator with him and rewriting the handbook. So that was 2013 Symposium, Las Vegas, Jan Carrion. But, no, that was Jan Harzan. And Jan came on briefly on this show, so I'll have to have him back. But he had a sighting when he was a child, as far as what I understand from him. So he's interested in the alien contact as well. Why do certain people have memories or have contact of some type psychologically, I believe. So have you ever seen anything yourself personally? Not that it means anything in ufology, but have you had any sightings personally, firsthand, just to get it on record?
Yeah, nothing important.
Just like, me, I saw bright light and stuff, but red lights coming out.
I saw something that was shaped like the Mercury capsule.
Huh.
Out of an airplane. I was going to the Austin conference for MUFON. I looked down, and the airplane's going one way, and this thing is just above the road down on. And so out the window, I saw this thing go by, but I only had like 2 or 3 seconds to look at it. I tried to get somebody else. Larry was there, and I tried to get him to look at it, and it wasn't. It was too late.
Well, we'll get you documented. Have you got that written up? The date?
Yeah, it's written up. Hey, I'm going to the MUFON. I'm going to the MUFON conference. I get to the MUFON conference. I say, "Hey, can I get a UFO form?" And these are all MUFON members now.
Okay.
Oh, we don't have one. I said, "Why don't you have a UFO form?" I said, "I just had a UFO sighting." "Oh, sure you did." Yeah.
Oh, no.
I mean, they didn't believe me. They didn't believe me. I said, I'm on this airline. I'm on this airline, and I see it out the window, and everybody's looking at me. Are you crazy?
Good Lord.